Alright lads and lasses, welcome along, Tuppence Tuesday, yet again, Whack another 2p in that meter, That's what it's time to do. I want to talk to you about something today, big topic, everyone always wants it, didn't they? Like them super pretty little pictures that you can put on my visualizations and all that, What do they mean? They mean maps, don't they? Put some maps in me chart, make it look all pretty and great. Problem is, Power BI now seems to have 4 of these different maps, and I thought, well, let's have a look, gone through the 4 different ones, kind of see the difference, So the first one you've got that Bing Maps. Well, it's Bing, innit? So, it's Bing. What can I say? Got Mapbox, which is, I have to say, it's a bit of a young pretender. It still seems to be evolving. It's definitely picking up traction in the market space. I'm hearing more and more about Mapbox. And on the other things that I use and the applications I use out and about, I'm seeing Mapbox visuals a lot. So Mapbox is definitely one that's coming. It's like a new age technology based. Their licensing model is based on usage. They seem to be more geared up towards meeting the requirements now. ESRI Maps, ArcGIS, right? I mean, they are the gold standard. There's nothing else I can say. I mean, I remember back in the day doing analytics work and stuff like that. And it was always, oh, we need to do ArcGIS maps, ArcGIS. Very much still the case. They've got a very good business model. They've got a very established client base. I think if you really want to get the most out of them in Power BI, you may find you're going to need to deploy ArcGIS servers. So there's an infrastructure cost. If you've already done it and you're down that ESRI route, then honestly, ignore the rest of this video, because ESRI is probably the one that you'll be better off using if you're already there. If you're not there, you might find that they're not the right option for you. Yeah, that's all I can say. Right, and the new one on the block that came out last month, I think, is Azure Maps. Now, Azure Maps, if I'm honest, like looking at it where it was even 2-3 months ago, it's kind of dying, man. It was like proper dying. I mean, it was a platform in Azure that would allow you to do and build great maps, but it couldn't talk to Power BI, which was a platform in Azure that Microsoft was saying, do all your visualizations in. And then, oh, no, but you've got a map over here. The two don't really, it was, fortunately, it looks like they've listened and they thought, oh, let's maybe join the dots and bring the two together. That's, a champion, isn't it? So Azure Maps has come to Power BI. It's a great step forward, but it's still in preview. I honestly think it's got a long way to go, but it is the one I'm watching the hardest. One thing to note with Azure Maps, you need to get your tenant admin to enable it if you want to publish anything to the service with it. So it needs to be enabled at the tenant admin level within your Power BI tenant, not your full O365 tenant, because that'll never happen when I get that changed. Right. Should we go over, have a look? You can stop looking at my face. We'll have a look at it in Power BI. Be cracking, won't it? Right? Alright, so I built this data set. It's not special. I might put a link to it where we've got it from. Right? It's one of these data.gov ones, and it was just food hygiene ratings across Newcastle. So what have various restaurants got? Hi. It's great to know most of them have got 5. So most of our restaurants are brilliant. Right? If you want to come to Newcastle, I can always come up. If you're coming to visit Geordie Intelligence, let one know, right? And I'll make sure I pick one that's got 5 stars in it, all right? So make sure we can do that. We're going to see, all right, where are we going to go? Centre of town. We can pick one, yeah? I don't know, we're going Quayside way. That's where everyone wants to go, isn't it, So I can click there, and then I've got a drill through set up, so you can click a drill through. You can see how that works, right? One thing I will say about the default Bing map that it has, that none of the other options have, if I'm honest about it, you can right click on it and you can use a drill through from there. So you see I've set up a drill through button, set that up because the others don't support right click drill through. Mapbox, ESRI, I didn't know if they're ever gonna, right? Azure Maps, I'm fingers crossed hoping they're gonna figure out that to make it work really well, they need to replicate all the functionality of the Bing map. But, left hand, right hand at times with Microsoft. But let's hope, So you can see I get some reasonable options there. The map looks alright. You know, I can zoom in, I can get right into it. You know, I can go and see Jesmond Dean. Tell you what, some great events going on in Jesmond Dean. Brilliant, yeah? Kind of helps get down to a real detail level. There are different map options as well. It's Bing Maps, as you would see if you went to maps.bing.com, I think it is. Bing Maps, yeah? The next on the list, Mapbox. So we can click on Mapbox, you can see it does a nice zoom in, looks very similar. You know, with a data set like this, there's not really a lot that you're going to be able to do in terms of the differences. It still interacts with the other visuals out and about. There are some interesting drag and drop options that you can do. If I can figure out if I can do them right. Yeah, so there with Lasso 2, you can see there 2 that have got 5, yeah? So it interacts with other visuals on the page as well as just itself, or as well as vice versa. That's what I meant. Yeah, so it's good. It's a good little tool to use, good little platform. As I say though, what you find is that I'm having to click on something to then be able to go and drill through to it. I can't right click and get anything to work. Yeah, we can pick one, and now we've got the drill through button. You can use that. It does work. It's massive. Having that drill through button is a big improvement, Microsoft. Well done, guys. Right, great. So far, so good. ESRI. ESRI, the way it works, you kind of come through again. It's very similar. You can add reference layers though to ESRI, but again, to do all that, you need to have more of the ArcGIS stuff. You need to have more of the other things there, but it can be very useful, especially if you're in the US, where you can get all sorts of extra demographics layers thrown in. I think you can get those if you've got a paid subscription in some of the other areas in the forums on ESRI and in ArcGIS. And for a lot of the businesses that use it, they will have also built up reference layers over the years. So you'd be able to bring your reference, take my teeth out there. You'd be able to bring your reference layers that you've built up into here. So I know, for example, back in the day, right, when I did some work with the council, Newcastle Council, we had to map all the bins. Yeah, where are all like the public bins? That was all done on ArcGIS. Right, so you can actually then start to piece together where are the bins. It makes sense to do, right? Well, that sounds a bit daft, but as a reference layer, that would be available to Newcastle City Council if they decided, oh, we're going to bring in Power BI. Let's use these ESRI maps. So you can leverage your existing investment with that. So it's a very useful tool if that's what you've got. If you haven't got it, it can be difficult to really get the most out of at a lower price point. Okay. And now the last one, right? Azure Maps. So we can click on Azure Maps and it goes away and it does something very similar. The one thing that I'm seeing with Azure Maps at the minute that's different to the rest is the ability to put traffic on it straight away. So this one, I've whacked the traffic reference layer on so I can actually see current traffic. Now, in the case of this data set, we want to see takeaways. Probably not that great. Well, not takeaways, sorry, right. Food establishments in Newcastle. If it was just takeaways, that might be brilliant. Oh, where's the traffic jam near takeaway? But for this, it's not much use. But if you could imagine, if you were doing something like a DHL or, you know, even a taxi company, where were taxis going? And you were actually able to look and see where are your taxis, where are they heading, where have they been relative to the current traffic, it can be beneficial. So there are use cases for it, but I think it's one that you might need to look at whether it's one you need or you don't need. But at the moment, this is the only one I'm aware that you can put that on. Yeah, so definitely it's worth having a look at. So far, as I say, they're saying, when you hover over it, you can see in the tooltip, it's saying it supports right-click drill through. Does it? Heck, man, is all I'm going to say, right? Still have to click on it and then do the drill through that way. It's good, it's useful. They all work pretty well. And at the minute, they're all doing pretty much the same thing, which is always great. So you're going to kind of come down probably to the cost, aren't you? So defaults, obviously free. Mapbox, there's a free subscription layer. It, based on how many times it's used, I think the first 1,000 or something is free. So probably for a lot of years you're starting out, free is going to be fine. once you get up to having a proper, full scaled up application, you're going to have to pay. From memory, the license costs from Mapbox were pretty reasonable. ESRI, I can't get to a point where I'm saying, as a startup, if your first foray into mapping is to look at ESRI, you're probably going in the wrong place, man, right? It's a brilliant platform. I can't fault it, but from a I want to do self-service analytics perspective, I can't figure it. I can't just do it. If you're a business though who's got your ArcGIS infrastructure already in, ESRI every time, man. Why am I wasting my time talking about anything else? ESRI every time. And then the last one is this Azure Maps. So my hope is that over time, Bing Maps will disappear and be replaced with Azure Maps, and all the functionality of Bing Maps will be moved to Azure Maps. Azure Maps does support custom layers, so you can build custom layers and bring those in. And as I say, at the minute, it's free. That may change in the future. Right now, Azure Maps is a paid service within Azure. It's not a high cost service, but it is a paid service. So we'll have to see which way that goes. So I hope that's helped, right? And that was a quick little run through. Any questions, let us know. All about me now. Let's get some comments in. Don't forget, go down to the bottom of the screen, man. Hit subscribe. If you want to get told when these videos come up, it's always worth watching these, I tell you, man. Hit the little bell icon as well. You get a little email saying, oh, Geordie Intelligence has released another video. They're always fun, aren't they? Right? You take care and we'll catch you all on Friday. Ta-da.